I think I'm like a minute early. That gives me time to do what I need to do on my end so that way you guys can hear me and see me. Today, we're going to be discussing enrichment, what it is that the Chosen Place does as an enrichment center. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited because I am excited, right? It's just one of those things where I want to educate you so you'll understand how to move forward in this new season. Some of you have been talking about, many of you have been talking about, you know, wanting to homeschool your kids. What is enrichment? What are the things that, that I have to offer? What is it that we do? Are we a full-time school? What does it mean to be an enrichment center? How does that look? And how do we do that? And the thing is, I want all of you guys to understand that in this point in time, we need to be very intentional about our children's educational plan. So when I talk to you about the Chosen Place Enrichment Center, it's not coming from simply a place of that is something that we need to do right now, but it's an intentional aspect. It's something that I have done. I have homeschooled my children from the time Daniel was going to the third grade, so the end of his second grade year. And I homeschooled him all the way through until he was, oh my gosh, until he graduated high school and went on to college. And I learned then that this is something that I truly want to do, that I truly love doing, that this is something that needs to be done. And in order for that to take place, and in order for that to happen, we have to be 100% intentional about how we're going to move forward. And so I'm just wanting to know can you see me, Kevin? Am I on? Okay, that's good. So I'm not sure how to pin it. I've been trying to pin it to my personal page, but I'm assuming that I'm there. So you guys, we're going to first discuss what is it, what's happening now, because from my understanding, 8 schools within the Orange County district closed down, right? So what that means is this. People are realizing that there's a better way than having students sit or they're not doing anything. I personally have went into a couple of the school systems here, and actually more than one, and I was very disappointed because I was thinking my son's missing out on the whole high school experience. And then when I go to the school, I can't walk in because I have to show my ID first. And then you're still not walking right in. Once you go through this one section, it's another section, and somebody has to buzz you in again. So that's twice. And then once you get into the place where you can actually see somebody, you have to show your ID yet again and get buzzed in through another door. And it's like, how is this educational? How is this high school? How is this an experience that you want to be a part of, that you want your children? Again, high school is not how it used to be back in the day, where it was something that we all wanted to be a part of, but it's so different. And it's a lot of testing, and your kids are sitting in classes and they're not even really doing work. Some of the classes they just need to show up for. And I can't blame the system. Like, you cannot blame the system. You cannot blame the government. You can blame inactive parents not being intentional about what it is that's actually happening at the schools. Your children are okay. You're okay with your child coming to school in a blanket. I don't want to hear nothing about we ain't got no jackets. Get out of here. And then they're sitting under the blankets with each other and nobody can say anything. Nobody. Not at all. You can't say anything. And it kind of ties your hand as a parent. How do I move forward? What is it that I want to do? So that's one of the reasons how the Chosen Place came about. I didn't really want to do it, but it came about because my son, I homeschooled my oldest, and my second son processed information differently. So because of that, he was going to Churchwell in Lakeland. And this is one of the worst encounters I've ever had with a public school, right? Because again, it's not the teachers, it's the system. And so the teachers are overworked. They have too many kids. And then my son does not learn like everybody else. He processes information differently. And then you have a teacher who's young and she's just getting into it. And because my son could go to the SLD classes, that's what she would send him when she would get frustrated. So now my son's thinking that the class that is there to help him was actually a punishment because she was overworked, because she didn't want to answer his questions, because she didn't want to do what it was that she was being paid to do. And so I realized then that something has to be done, but I was not sure how to do it. And some of you parents are in this same situation where you don't necessarily have somebody to tell you what you need to do next. I thank God every day for Miss Cook, because Miss Cook made sure that I knew what I was doing. She was like, Mama, before you take your baby out, make sure you have a letter of intent. That has to be through the school board. You're going to send it to the school board, and then they're going to give you a set amount of time. Either you're going to homeschool your kid or you're going to put your kid in another school. So I knew nothing about a letter of intent. I thought if you take your kid out, you can just do that. No, you can go to jail, okay? You can go to jail. And so understanding that theory, that began my homeschool journey with my children. So my youngest, Malachi, has never been in public school, ever. He does not know what that is, right? He knows what it is, but he's never been in it. And so the more and more that I'm learning, the more and more that intentional over the years, that I realized that this was the best plan for our household. Some of your kids have to be in school. They have to be. You got to find a system that works for them. And so what makes the chosen place different is because we are a smaller knit. Right? So there are so many homeschool programs that are coming up. There are so many things that you can do online with your children. But do you know that you need to keep attendance? How do I keep attendance, Tisha? I'm going to help you with that. How do I make sure that I have the letter of intent? I'm going to help you with that. What does the letter of intent do? Can I go to the high school or the school that you have your child in, and can I pull them out? Well, yeah, you can, and they will actually give you a letter of intent. So it's ways you just have to know how to ask and what to ask for. And don't make a decision based simply off of being frustrated or emotions. Is this going to be profitable for my child? I'm learning now that a lot of people are putting their children in different charter schools and different private schools because they have the UA scholarship, which means unique abilities. You know, they learn differently, like they're on the spectrum, all these different aspects, but your child is not learning. Your child is a number and has become a paycheck, right? What is your child doing? Is your child the same that they were from the beginning to now? What's happening? And so the more and more I looked at it, the more and more I became intentional about Isaiah, you know, because he does learn differently. So I had to take my son to the park, and I would spell it and then touch it and tell him what it was. And that's how he began to learn how to read. Then I had a tutor through the school, Miss Chella. She came and she worked with him. And then we connected with Wonder here in Lakeland, Florida. I thank God for them every day, because I didn't know what I was doing. I legit did not know what I was doing in the beginning. So here you have 3 teachers that started an enrichment center for homeschooling parents, because they realized that the system, not the teachers, not the staff, but the system does not work. It's not working. And we're seeing it more and more and more and more each and every day, that we're so caught on trying to label things that we're not realizing that we are grouping our children and we're helping to set our children up for failure. Every label is not your child's label. That's why I always say that my son learns differently. I never told my child that he had a learning disability. That's what I was told. I was in SLD from the time that I was in kindergarten all the way through high school, that I was in SLD. And then, again, you know, a specific learning disability. They couldn't really quite put their finger on what it was, but I processed information differently. Because of those that I was in contact with throughout the school system, there were certain teachers, Miss Painter, I would never forget her, because she was the reason that I realized that I had a superpower, you know, that the way I process information was able to get me where I needed to be. So when you hear me say, I hear what you don't say, literally, that's how I process information. And I was able to use those stepping stones to really move forward. So some of you did have questions. What do I do? How do I get curriculum? What's the best curriculum? You got to find out what's the best curriculum for your child. What's the best curriculum for you? And can you adequately stay home and make sure your child does what he or she needs to do? So that's when enrichment comes in. It's not for you to send your child somewhere for them to babysit your kid and nobody's keeping attendance or nobody's keeping participation or anything. That's not it. Enrichment center is, we come hand in hand with the parent. So we help you keep your child's grades. We show you, we walk you through the process, and we also hit the core subjects. So the maths, the science, the social studies, reading, all those things. We hit those core subjects. What makes the chosen place different from a lot of other places that we have certified ESE teacher, and we have a licensed mental health therapist. Why is that? Because we need it. That's so important because, again, we're living in a time where everybody wants everything like this, and nobody wants to slow down. Nobody wants to take the time to help the child understand, hey, it's not you. Hey, there's another way. And we intentionally make our class sizes smaller, because I know for a fact that works. That's why I enjoyed my SOD classes so much, because it wasn't a lot of us. And I don't know if y'all remember like Little House on the Prairie, where they would have like all the kids in one class. Well, that's kind of like how my SOD class was. And it was many of us in there, but it was smaller groups. And then we were able to learn, and nobody was kind of staggered, right? Because everybody learns on different levels. Another thing that I want you parents to understand is this. Guess what, y'all? So when you homeschool your children, it is, and all those tests are not necessary. Those tests that the kids have to take to determine, you do, if your child wants to go to a 4-year university, then they need to take the ACT and the SAT. And when you do enrichment, when you do homeschooling, you can also get your kids in dual enrollment. A lot of you don't know that. Just because you homeschool your child does not mean that your child cannot participate in any school activities. Whatever school your child is under, whatever district that child is under, your child can absolutely go and be on the track team. Absolutely. But you need to make sure your child got the grades for those activities and that you can back it up. If you're going to do the letter of intent with your county or your district, then what you need to make sure that you keep the portfolio of the work that your child has done. And then at the end of the year, you have to turn in, I forgot what it's called. The portfolio is where a teacher has to sign off that the child has done what is needed to do. Now, I don't deal with K through 5th graders. A lot of people say, I want to start with them. I want to get them, in the beginning. So what happens to the 6th through the 12th graders when all the hormones start hitting, when they're trying to learn how to articulate themselves, because everybody started with the babies, but now we have the middle schoolers when the attitudes change. And see, that's me. That's where I see it. I do the middle schoolers and the high schoolers. That's my thing. That's what I love to do. That's what the chosen place was created for. Why? Because I see it. So simply from a life coaching perspective, I see it. Simply because I've sat there and I know what it's like to struggle and to deal with different things day by day. I understand those things, and it makes me, because I know what it's like when somebody's talking loud and it's misinterpreted as you're screaming, but you're actually just trying, you don't feel heard. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to be told I have a bad attitude and I'm this and I'm that, and nobody knows that I'm getting battered and abused at home mentally and emotionally. Nobody understanding. So I wanted to create a safe space for students to come, and parents as well. With enrichment and with homeschooling, parents must be involved. It's a must. It's not something that, no, you're gonna learn how to put these grades in. I'm gonna show you where you can go. I'm gonna show you how to keep your grades in a system that'll work for you. And no, it's not costly. That's another thing. It's not as costly as you think it is. You just have to know how to go, where to go, how to set it up. If you want to do assessments, there are so many places you can get assessments done that are not expensive, that you can assess where your child is at. So you'll know exactly where to put them, how to go from the next, the next step. What is that? When my son graduated high school, he wasn't sure what he wanted to do. So he didn't want to do dual enrollment, and I didn't make him. He just wasn't into it. And then he decided, okay, he wanted to do respiratory therapy. He was going to go to Lake Sumter. So he had to take the PERT test. And my son scored extremely high on every aspect that they told him he could just take whatever math he wanted to take. Like, he didn't have to do his mama had to do the prerequisite before the prerequisites. My baby didn't have to do any of that, right? And so again, worrying if they're going to be social, how they're going to interact with others. My oldest has been in homeschool since before he went to 3rd grade. He went to college. He joined the student government. He is now like the president over it. Now he's going to be like regional. He's in the respiratory care program as we speak. He's already started clinicals, and he's very social. So those are things, because there are kids that are in high school that are extreme introverts that are not social at all. So being homeschooled doesn't mean a negative thing. How your child going to interact? How are they going to get in sports? We have AAUs, all kind of stuff. Your child can go to their school and say, hey, my child wants to be on the basketball team. Hey, my child wants to be on this. You just have to keep accuracy of their grades and keep it documented. You don't want to put your children in sports and they're not even committed to education. Because in any sport, you can get injured. So what you're going to fall back on? What are options? And then the amazing thing about homeschooling your child is that it gives you an opportunity to see them grow. But one thing that I want you parents to understand, that when you homeschool your child, you can't blame anybody else if your child does not make it. You have to blame yourself. Because one thing you're going to have to do is check behind them. You're gonna have to check behind them wholeheartedly. Let me make sure that you're doing it. Is this correct? And if you don't know, YouTube is amazing, and now we got ChatGPT that can literally take a picture and, okay, how do I walk through this? Then there are certain books out there, like I use Master Books, which is a faith-based organization, and all their books are based on that. So we do consumer math, budgeting, accounting. Isaiah is amazing at taxes. I didn't know that, but when he was taking, because he was good at the percentages, how to do this. Oh my God, the kid that struggled, the one that didn't like to read, the one that couldn't read a lot, now reads at least 4 to 5 thick books a month on his own. His mother does not tell him. He loves novels and he gets into them, and that's the amazing part. That's the part where I get to honestly say that I helped shape my son, right? So our goal at the Chosen Place is to become a private school. And that's because we want to be able to keep attendance. So if you're putting your child in an enrichment center and they're not considered a private school or any type, you need to keep attendance. You need to keep the attendance, and you need to keep the grades. And many of you are wondering, what's an umbrella school? How do I unschool my child? Well, umbrella school is just that. That's where you'll make sure you're turning your grades. That's where you're turning your attendance, and then they'll give your child a diploma. My goal is that we'll be able to give Isaiah his diploma. That's what we're working towards, because we want to be a private school for that reason. I want to help parents as much as I can. The Chosen Place is not, like I said, we're not a place for you just want to drop your kids off. Like, no, like Monday, we are taking the kids to Discovery Cove. That's a field trip, the end of the year field trip for us. But the kids are also going to have to learn about marine life. Oh my God, right? Like the importance of why is it? And then those are the sciences, the different things that come with it. And so again, we're learning different aspects of everything. Now, one of the best things and the major things about the Chosen Place is that we are Step Up approved. So we can take scholarships, and you don't have to wonder how you're going to do it. And those of you who do not get a Step Up scholarship, who do not get scholarship funding, we make it easy. We break it down, monthly payments. You can do those things, right? But it's like, how serious are you as a parent? Because we do ask the parents to be active. And being active don't mean you got to come to every event. But being active means that I need you to be active. I need you to be intentional about your child's education. Because if you're entrusting us to be a supplement to what you already are doing, or to enhance what it is that you're doing, then we're asking you to do the work. We're asking you to do those things. So we have the therapist. We have the ESE teacher. We have the instructors. I have more than one if need be. I have access to more than one therapist. But right now, many of you just had questions, and I wanted to address those questions because, again, at the end of the day, it's the system. And I know some of you want to blame the teachers. I know it's the system. And when you the system, it has been to succeed. So every time somebody come to you and tell you your child is dyslexic or has a learning disability or is on the spectrum, yeah, you need to really evaluate wait a minute, because everybody's child can't be. If that's the case, we're all on the spectrum. What does that mean? I'm not talking about obvious behavioral things. I'm not talking about the obvious. I'm talking about you settling that. Don't settle in the title, because that in the end, that's going to hurt your child. I knew what the test results said about my son. I knew, because I seen them. And literally, know what it said? 1 point away from being considered a genius, and then 1 point away from being just regular. He just sat in the middle. So thus, he was diagnosed with a learning disability because of the way he processed information. That is not a handicap. That's not a delay. That's not a disability. That's I process information different. The kid that could struggle to read and spell could literally look at phonics and pronounce dinosaur words like it was nothing. And I remember just thinking, like, how are you even able to do this? And so that's how I began to teach him how to do math and how to do certain things. I was like, if we have 3 tyrannosauruses and 2 bronchiosauruses, how many dinosaurs do we have total? So you have to find that thing that your child like, that thing that your child is very much so into. Because once you begin to do those things, begin to talk to your child. Over the summer, we're going to do, and I'm gonna let you guys know, we're gonna do like an open house type of thing. And it's gonna be like a private thing where parents can come and see and sit with me and ask questions. Because I don't want anybody to be lost. Like going into August of this year, you wanna set your children up for success. Like that's the most important thing, is to set your children up for success. Because if we don't set them up, you can't look for somebody else to do it. Now, I remember all my teachers that were very instrumental in me moving forward, and me accepting where I was at, my understanding those things that not necessarily considered limits, but those things that I would probably have to work harder to overcome. Right. And again, it's all in verbiage. It's all in how you see a thing. It's all in how you say a thing. And understanding that some of this stuff that we are considering behaviors is simply because a child does not feel seen or heard. And then there are things that are simply behaviors because you tolerate them as a parent. And one of the things I need you guys to understand is this, is that you're looking to the system to do something that the system was no. It can't do it, and we're watching it fail. And instead of sitting and talking, what are we doing? Talking about it, what are we doing collectively? And I want you parents out there to be very careful of schools that are popping up, enrichment centers. Um, find out, ask somebody. Yeah, your child go is what are they learning? Do you see a difference? Ask, because that's the most important thing above everything else. Like, I make sure that whoever comes in and speaks to our children, that they are genuine and that they know what they're talking about. Like, that's so important. And that the kids understand that. What other options do they have? Everybody does not want to go to college. Okay, so what does this look like? What does this journey look like? What certification are you looking for? Where do you want to go? How do you want to do it? So we have like a senior fellowship, which I'm really excited, a senior fellowship program, because we designate, like we design everything around the outcome that they want. Because my son doesn't necessarily want to go to college, but there are other things that he wants to do. So his senior year is designed for that. Like, oh wow, like how do we do that? So I want you guys to just know this. Like, I came on here today because I wanted to give some insight and some detail to what it is that enrichment really is. Enrichment is just a support system. And we hit all the target areas. So the Chosen Place Enrichment Center, we are located in Leesburg, Florida. And if you have any more questions, you can reach me at area code 352-408-3972. My name is Letitia. I am the director, right? And I'm going to do another one before school starts. And I think I'm going to have the therapist and the teacher on here with me, because the closer it gets, I know right now everybody think, oh, it's the summertime. You have to be vigilant and intentional when it comes to the education of your children. Like, that has to be important, you know? So again, this was just for informational purposes. Those of you that are not sure where to go when it comes down, we do offer concierge services at a rate. There is a fee for that, okay? Because again, it's the timing, it's the being intentional. So the first initial consultation, there is no to call to no, but if you're gonna no, if you want me to do this continuously, if you want us to show you and to keep you and to kind of keep you up to date with things, then we do offer a concierge service to help guide you through this and to make sure that we set you up for success so you can set your child up for success, right? Because that's what we're looking for. I'm excited about 2027. Like I'm excited about 2026, but I'm excited about 2027. Why? Because both of our children. So my high school will be graduating high school and my college student will be graduating college. And that's major, right? And I'm just excited about it. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me. Please share this video if you like. If I answered some of your questions, if I didn't, I'll check the comments later. So you will come back later and I'll try to answer what I can. But again, if you want to set up a consultation where we can talk and we kind of figure out where you're at, what it is that you need, you can reach me at area code 352-408-3972, or you can email me at info@thechosenplace.us, either or. You can even send a text and I'll get back with you at my earliest convenience, but I always say within 24 to 48 hour business hours, right? Business days. You guys make it a great day. I'm excited about the new school year that's coming up in August. The Chosen Place, we have limited seating intentionally. So I want you guys to get in, get the information that you need, ask the questions, and I want you to be successful because anybody can encourage you, but not everybody is equipped to empower you. And I am adamant about empowering you. So you guys make it a great day. And until next time, be positive. Love you guys. Talk to you later.